Are biological women next on the attack list to be canceled? Today we're going to talk about women and people that believe they're women before biological women are canceled. Hey guys, my name is Jason Wesley and this is not a podcast. So women are not just called woman, mom, or mother anymore. They're also called birthing people by Democrats.
We have not created an infrastructure to support birthing people.
All pregnant and birthing people deserve to be treated with love.
Birthing while Black should not be a death sentence.
Health equity for Black birthing people is attainable.
Mothers and babies and Black birthing people are important.
We desperately need long-term fixes to support the healthcare needs of Black women and birthing people.
The most marginalized Black and Indigenous birthing people.
To systemically shift the way we approach health care for birthing people of color.
And respectful of Black women and birthing people.
The maternal mortality crisis among Black birthing people in the United States.
Black birthing people.
And birthing people.
For birthing people.
Black birthing people.
And our Black birthing persons.
For all birthing persons in Louisiana.
That birthing people want doulas and midwives.
And support for birthing people during the postpartum period.
There are not enough Black workers of color, leaving Black birthing people with limited autonomy or opportunity to receive racially concordant care.
Protect Black birthing people and to save lives.
Feminism suggested that there was something special about being a woman, but now the feminist movement says there's nothing special about women and men can give birth. Remember when the ACLU tweeted, "There's no one way to be a man. Men who get their periods are men. Men who get pregnant and give birth are men. Trans and non-binary men belong." So March is Women's History Month and was nationally recognized by Congress in 1987. It was almost changed to Women's History Month.
What the hell is that? I don't know what that is.
In an attempt to be more woke, Twitch is facing backlash after using women with an X in place of women in their Women's History Month blog on Monday. In the blog post, they replace all instances of woman or women with women with an X, apparently because they thought it was the politically correct thing to do. Very similarly, how Latina and Latino is changed to Latinx. Latinx is a gender-neutral alternative to Latino and Latina, and even Latin with the @ symbol. Used by scholars, activists, and an increasing number of journalists, Latinx is quickly gaining popularity among the general public. It's part of a linguistic revolution that aims to move beyond gender binaries and is inclusive of the intersecting identities of Latin American descendants. In addition to men and women from all racial backgrounds, Latinx also makes room for people who are trans, queer, agender, non-binary, gender non-conforming, or gender fluid. Now, we'll get into the root of language in Latin in a different episode of Not a Podcast, but why the X in women? Asked Twitch in a blog. All women are women, but we use women with an X to stand with intersectional feminism. The problem is that women with an X isn't actually a term used by intersectional feminists. Instead, it is a term used for non-cis women by trans exclusionary radical feminists who want to make a distinction between real women and trans women. As a result, the usage of women with an X really missed the mark for many women, trans women, and non-binary people. Some of the even more woke, discontented Twitter users wrote, "Women with an X isn't all that great of a term. Trans women are women, not a special kind of woman, and non-binary folks aren't women either. Using women with an X to mean not male is kind of not great. Many trans women, myself included, and women of color, myself included, that I talk about the term feel like it's something white feminists came up with to be inclusive of us instead of just fixing spaces that exclude us and make us feel unsafe." Another user wrote, "Women with an X is not a real effing word. It was literally created by TERFs to invalidate trans people. Please just call us women. Hell, I'd rather be called a literal slur than women with an X." Now, what is TERFs, you ask? To put it not so simply, TERF or TERF stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, otherwise known as someone who supposedly stands for women's rights while only considering people who were assigned female at birth to be women. This means they don't consider transgender women to be women. So it really doesn't matter how woke you are. The woke skull will come for you. Now, you may be a part of the mob now, but the mob that is on the witch hunt will eventually find you and cancel you, just like they're trying to do with Caitlyn Jenner. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Caitlyn was originally Bruce Jenner, the gold medalist that won the 1976 Olympic decathlon, and later married Kris Jenner, who knew Ryan Seacrest, and later led to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and later transitioned from a man to a woman, and is now known as a transgender woman. But the language is constantly being changed, and now apparently not known as a transgender woman, but just a woman, and always was a woman. And transgender men were always men, according to the ACLU. Trans men are men, trans men are men, trans men are men. You get it? Hashtag International Men's Day.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But Caitlyn, who is now running for governor of California, oddly enough, was asked by someone with TMZ about whether she thinks transgender females should compete in female sports, and here's what she said.
So there's legislation in various states to ban biological boys or trans from playing girls' sports in school. What's your opinion on that?
This is a question of fairness. That's why I oppose biological boys who are trans competing in girls' sports in school. It just isn't fair. And we have to protect girls' sports in our school.
But if someone transitions and now identifies as a girl, isn't it delegitimizing their identity to prevent
Have a good day.
It's an amazing time for women's sports. I mean, all sorts of records and glass ceilings are being shattered by this next wave of female athletes. Trans powerlifter smashes record and draws backlash. Mary Gregory posted this on Instagram on April 28, 2019. What a day. 9 for 9. Masters world squat record, open world bench record, Masters world DL record, and Masters world total record. Still processing. Who could have predicted that one? You remember Fallon Fox, who broke her opponent's skull in an MMA fight. In March 2020, she tweeted, "Yo, on this Trans Visibility Day and all others, trans visibility matters. Remember what you are capable of. Never quit. Never let them tell you that you don't belong. Fight for it with all you have." To which someone responded, "You went through puberty as a man. Your bones are denser. Your muscles are bigger, stronger. That's basic biology. That doesn't change. If they did a blood test, it will always come back as a man. Again, simple biology. How you feel is irrelevant." Now here's what Joe Rogan said just a few years ago.
But one thing we can do is we can keep women from getting beaten up by men and men who transition to being women. And if you think that's fair, you're f***ing crazy. And it's just not. It doesn't make any sense. And the arguments for it are so shitty and they're so riddled with progressive speak that they're trying to pretend that this is a woman now. This is not a woman. This is a trans woman. This is a male. She has a Y chromosome. She transitioned to being a female. Now she's a trans woman. And if you choose to fight her and you're a woman and you know that she's a trans woman, I'm totally fine with that. But that was not what was going on here. What was going on here was this woman who used to be a man for 32 years transitioned to being a woman and it didn't tell anybody. And fought two different women who thought they were fighting a woman and got fucking smashed.
Badly injured, yeah.
Well, I was watching it. It was like watching a man fight a woman. That's what I was watching. I was like, this isn't like she wasn't particularly skillful. It wasn't like she had like some unbelievable background in judo, like Ronda Rousey or something like that. It wasn't that. You were just literally watching a former man beat up women who never had the benefit of 30 years plus of testosterone in their body. There's a lot of new ground that's going on here. My concern as a martial arts expert is when you are using ideology to push this progressive notion that, you know, a trans woman is exactly the same as a woman, and you're getting women beat the fuck up because of it. And this is what I felt, and this is what I saw. And they went after me hard for like a year or two, but then it all went away.
Transgender cyclist Rachel McKinnon, formerly Rise McKinnon, who now goes by Veronica Ivy, not to be confused with Veronica Corningstone.
I'm gonna punch you in the ovary. That's what I'm gonna do. A straight shot.
Ooh, ow.
Right to the baby maker.
Wins second straight World Masters title. Her latest victory at the Masters Track Cycling World Championships reignites debate over fair play and sports as a human right. Now, John McEnroe said something similar to Joe Rogan when he was talking about women playing against men, specifically Serena Williams in tennis, and said if Serena played in the men's circuit, she'd rank like 700. And before you go into the defense of Serena Williams, even Serena shared the same view when she was asked years ago as well.
Funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game. And I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you when it comes to tennis. I only want to play girls.
But now Caitlyn Jenner, who once won Woman of the Year by Glamour magazine, was labeled anti-trans after saying trans girls shouldn't compete in female sports teams. George Takei, one of the dumbest human beings on earth in my humble yet accurate opinion, tweeted, "Caitlyn Jenner is no friend of the LGBTQ community. Don't call her an activist. She's a menace." By the way, doesn't the B in LGBTQ affirm that there are only two genders? Anyways, that tweet was a huge difference from what he tweeted about Caitlyn just a few short years ago. "Welcome to the party, Caitlyn Jenner. You're stunning inside and out. This soldier said it all here. Caitlyn is amazing." I wish I was making all this stuff up. But it gets worse. Even dog owners aren't safe. Dog owners, stop saying good boy and good girl to your pets. This kind of gendered language is normalizing the myth of canine sexual dimorphism and delegitimizes, spelled incorrectly, the lived experience of trans dogs. If you're still with me, congratulations. But this is going to be the end of part 1 of men, women, and transgender. So follow and share this video and then go watch part 2.
Will you be my alibi?